Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about what comes up for us as we do self-compassion practices and loving kindness practices, where one of the steps is to turn that loving kindness or that friendliness toward ourselves. And over, not just in this group, but in other groups and classes that I've taught, inevitably what comes up is the one for myself was really difficult. It's really hard to get to that place of self-compassion. And so I thought we would do a little practice around that specifically. And I know that I've mentioned this to you before, but when the Dalai Lama and Thich Nhat Hanh and other teachers from the East brought meditation and mindfulness practices to the West, these were some of the traditional basic practices that were just done over there. And when they found out that Westerners had a really hard time with this self-compassion piece, especially in the metta or self loving kindness meditation, when we turn it to ourselves, that Westerners were constantly saying, I don't know how to love myself. That's really hard. And they were so surprised. The teachers were so surprised because it's really unique to our Western culture that somehow or another we've been either taught or acculturated to thinking that it's not okay to love ourselves. And of course, we all have things that we regret and that we wish we had done or said differently. Times where we've made small mistakes or even enormous mistakes in relationships, in life, and decisions. That's all part of being human. But to not actually be able to love ourselves in spite of all of those things is something that at least these teachers found was unique about us in the West. And it is difficult for us, no doubt. And so one of the obstacles that I see, there are a couple of obstacles. One of them is that there seems to be an attitude that we have here that if you do love yourself, or if you were to have compassion for yourself, then that would mean A, that you're selfish and that you think it's all about you, and B, that you would be letting yourself off the hook, and that just wouldn't be right because your mistakes were so egregious. Or C, you just don't deserve it. And um, and probably a bunch of other things go through our heads too, right? I mean, it just doesn't feel right. We're not taught that that's okay. And so the people who run the self-compassion organizations, Kristen Neff and Chris Germer, are the main ones who have written books and curricula on self-compassion. They have taken that idea of self-compassion is really hard for us Westerners, and they took that concept or that realization and they turned it into, well, let's study self-compassion then. So they have a self-compassion institute. I think you can find it under selfcompassion.org. And they have employed and instigated a pretty vast amount of research now that says that of all the things that we can do in a mindfulness practice, self-compassion might be the most transformative. So yeah, we can be silent and we can pay attention to our breathing so we can develop that ability to focus and be present. We can practice sending loving kindness to others, to strangers, to difficult people, all of those things. But it may be that the self-compassion, loving kindness for ourselves is the major piece that's transformational in a person's life in terms of freeing them up to have a happier life, a more mindful life, a more peaceful life, um, and even a life where they are more able to love others. And I don't necessarily think that you must love yourself in order to be able to love others. Sometimes we hear that as well. But I do feel, from my own experience and then from the research that I've read, that a little bit of actual self compassion goes a long way in our ability to develop and sustain positive relationships with ourselves, and with others. Um, all the health benefits of blood pressure regulation and blood sugar regulation and anti-inflammatory effects and all of that are actually more effective when we practice self-compassion. So anyway, I thought it would be interesting to try in a little experiment. And I haven't done this before, so you're my first group to do this with. So we'll just try it out and then we'll see how it goes and you can give me feedback. So what I'd like you to do is perhaps even grab a piece of paper and a pencil, or a pen or something to write on. And if you don't have that nearby, feel free to take a second and just run and get that. I'll be slow to start here so that you'll have time. And what I'll do is I'm just going to get a piece of paper for myself here. And I will see, why don't we each just take like 1 minute to write down what comes up for you when you are in the middle of a self-compassion meditation or loving kindness for self or any of the practices where I've asked you to turn your awareness to your own heart and to your own suffering. Maybe just jot down 2 or 3 things, thoughts or beliefs that come up for you when that happens. So I'm going to take a minute and do that, and I encourage you to do the same thing. So at least 3. Okay. Whatever you have is fine. If you only came up with 1 or 2, or if you were able to make a whole list, yeah, either of those is just fine. All right. So I just want you to have those there so you don't have to think too hard during this exercise. Okay. So let's start at the beginning of setting up for meditation. So I'm sitting in a chair today. So I'm just going to, and I encourage you as well, to feel yourself in your chair. And so just feel where your bottom is sinking into your chair, held by the chair, feeling the weight of your sits bones, making contact with the chair. And feel your feet on the floor, or maybe they're propped up, that's fine, but wiggle your toes and just notice if your toes are cool. Maybe you're barefoot today, or they're warm. Maybe they're inside socks or tucked under a blanket. And just feel your toes, feel your feet and legs, hips, back, shoulders, neck, and head. And so just being present with your whole body here and now, just noticing whatever sensations or whatever might be going on in your body right now. It might be places that are stiff or sore or cool or warm, achy, at ease, gripping. So, yeah, just sort of take an inventory. What's happening in my body right now? And then what's happening with your breath right now? The breathing happens all the time, and yet we very rarely pay attention to it. So, here's an invitation to just notice yourself breathing. Notice that you are breathing. And then just maybe pay attention to the breath as it comes in and out, that sensation of coolness as it comes in through the nostrils and then warmth as it leaves the body. What an amazing thing, the breath. So, allowing your body to settle in your seat and then allowing your mind to settle in the body. There are days where that's easy and other days where that's really, really difficult. And it doesn't matter. We just come to our practice every day. It's a new day, a new practice, and whatever comes up, what's ever present for us, that's what's present for us. And so that's what we meet and greet and use in our practice. So breathing, experiencing. You can even use some words. Breathing in, I feel myself breathing. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. And invite you to just call up one of those thoughts that you wrote down. Um, just take one if you can. I know sometimes other ones jump in there and say, me, me, me. But for the best you can, just choose one so you can open your eyes and look down at your list if you like. And so say the one that gets in your way when you're called to um, practice self-compassion or when you attempt to practice self-compassion. And so what is the one thing that's standing out for you today that gets in the way of practicing self-compassion? If you were to say, I feel utmost compassion for myself, no matter what I've done, mistakes I've made, the things that I've said or not said, whatever it is, all of those things, no matter what, I give myself permission to have extreme self-compassion. Compassion for the one who struggled, or the one who still struggles, who can't seem to do anything right, who's hurt someone else. Maybe you could say to that person, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'll take your hand. I'll walk with you. I won't leave you. And if any part of you finds this challenging, remember the obstacle that you wrote down. Maybe it was just too egregious, too hurtful, and you can't let yourself off the hook for that. And see if you can find that place in your heart that's holding on to that. I can't let myself off the hook for this. I'm not deserving of love or self compassion. If I do let myself off the hook, then it might mean that I can just get away with whatever. So, whatever that obstacle is, it's almost as if you could hold that with your hands or in the vessel, the container, the sacred container of your heart. And let's just see what it's like to send compassion directly to that part of us. What would it be like to have compassion for the part of us that does not believe we deserve it, that does not believe we've earned it, that feels if you let yourself off the hook, that's letting you get away with something? What if you held that almost as if you could determine its color and its shape and if it makes a sound or if it has a texture, and say to just that piece, I'm here for you too. I am here for you, this part of me that doesn't deserve or think that it deserves forgiveness or love or compassion. I'm here for you, this part of me that continues to eat sugar even when I know I shouldn't. Whatever that is for you, I'm here for you. I feel compassion for you. I send my love and my thoughts and my well wishes. May you be happy. May you feel at ease. May you be able to soften and know that you're only human. May you know that it's okay and not selfish to feel loved, to feel cared for, to feel like you belong. May you feel at ease. May you be happy and healthy. Maybe you be able to relax and soften What would that be like? And so I'll be silent for a few moments to allow you to continue to work with this place where you get stuck and offering whatever wishes, well wishes, softness or openness, whatever that part of you needs to hear. And if another one on your list or one that even wasn't on your list pops in and is crying for attention, then feel free to switch to that one as well or hold them both. This is your practice. And if you lose your place, that's okay. Just coming back to your breath, your body, and then the best you can, pick up the practice or just stay with your breath. Mm. A couple more moments to kind of wind up this practice by taking that piece of you that's so troubled and just integrating that into your own heart. And if you feel your work here is not complete, that there's still more to be done, then just promising yourself that you'll come back to it. And this is a practice that you can come back to over and over and over again. Because even when we feel, if we ever do, like we've mastered the art of self compassion, things will come up. Things will come up. And then we know that we have a practice to come back to take care of that hurt part of us right away so that it doesn't linger and fester and suffer. So begin to open your eyes and look around your surroundings. I have these beautiful virtual sunflowers behind me today. We're going to look back at them. Oh, they're so pretty. Look around your own environment. Remember where you are. Wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe roll your shoulders and give yourself a nice stretch. Maybe even a twist one way and then the other way. If you haven't turned on your camera yet, you're welcome to. And this is going to seem silly, but if you can see yourself on the camera, then feel free to just give yourself a nice smile. Smile at your own picture. We all have things that we wish were different about our face or about our body, but that's another thing that makes us so human and sharing this common humanity. So I appreciate that too. Okay. All right, I do have a little something to read to you from Thich Nhat Hanh because he's one of our favorite teachers in this group, and his readings and what he writes are always just so heart-centered. So I found this this morning and I wanted to read it to you, share it with you. Being compassionate to yourself is a very important practice. When you are tired, angry, or in despair, you should know how to go back to yourself and take care of your tiredness, your anger, and your despair. That is why we practice smiling, mindful walking and breathing, and mindful eating. We haven't done one of those practices for a while. So, anyway, being compassionate to yourself is a very important practice. It's not just me saying it. Thich Nhat Hanh. So let's go with that. All right. I wish you all the best. Have a good week and a safe weekend. And yeah, may you have at least glimmers of self-compassion that come in there, here and there. All right. Take care, everyone. Blessings.